guys, Lori here. I was hopeful that I could pre-film as much as I could in the month of January, but life got away from me and I got sick, and it just did not happen. But I want to start a new feature on my blog and my YouTube channel, and it's going to be February reads that I am excited for. And this is going to include books by authors that I have not read before, books by authors that I have read before, and books that I have already read. I do go to a bunch of conventions, so I do have arcs of some of these books. Some of these books I'm just super excited because I have read the authors before, and some books I have read already. So I want to give you guys my non-spoiler thoughts if I'm able to before these books come out. So the first two books I'm going to chat about are the first book that I finished reading already. The first book that I finished reading was Comics Will Break Your Heart by Faith Erin Hicks. I wound up reading this, I think, in November, if I'm correct. It's basically a Romeo and Juliet retelling. And it basically follows these two characters, Marion and Weldon. Marion's grandfather wound up starting this amazing, superhero franchise, but Weldon's grandfather basically stole the money and cut her out of all of the profits. So these two people basically wind up meeting, and it's kind of a Romeo and Juliet situation. I really like this book. I thought it to be super cute. It was a really, really compelling read. I was equally invested in both character storylines, and I would actually wind up definitely rereading this. I would probably get an audiobook to re-listen to it, but I actually really liked it. So if you're looking for kind of a book, kind of like in the vein of Fangirl or Geekerella, I really did like this book. I thought it was a really, really fun read, and I hope that you will consider checking it out. Picking up, I actually had gotten 2 copies of, and that was Four Dead Queens by Astrid Soleil. This was the book that everyone wanted at BookCon, and it was caused a near riot in the convention center. I didn't actually get it from there, but I got it from like a trade, and then I won one from Bookish First. And this basically follows set in a fantasy world where there are 4 queens, and they're basically all murdered. So it's basically trying to find the plot of how they were murdered, and you follow a thief who is trying to put these pieces together. I wanted to love this book. I thought the world was really fascinating, but the world felt like I've read it before. The world wasn't unique, it wasn't different. I was more compelled by the thief storyline, but it felt like a little bit off. I never felt really connected to the book or to the characters. I liked it. I didn't love it. I gave it like 3.5 stars. This is a read that I would highly recommend you check out from a library, or maybe get it from a friend or borrow it. It wasn't my type of fantasy novel. I wanted to like it more. I'll be curious to see if we do get a book 2. But I liked it. I didn't love it. I wound up giving it like 3.5, maybe a brief 4 stars if I had to. But it was definitely an okay read. It didn't wow me. It didn't shock me. But the lead character, her, I really did like. The other book, elements of the book, the plot and the pacing was okay. The story did not wow me. So here are a few books by authors that I am really excited for that I've read before. The first 3 books are books that are books in a series, like they're the second or third book. The first book is Blood Witch by Susan Dennard. This is the third book in the Witchland series, and I actually really enjoyed this series. I definitely preferred Wind Witch to Truth Witch. And I actually did get an arc of this. I won it from Bookish First, but my friend is currently getting it signed for me when she goes to her Susan Dennard signing. So I'm actually really excited to hopefully get get that back soon, so I can actually dive into it. I loved Wind Witch. I still need to read Sight Witch, which is the novella that's in that series. So that's probably going to be hopefully the book I read first, and then I'm going to dive into Blood Witch. Hopefully, I'm really excited to dive back into this series. This series is growing on me. I'm hoping that I just keep getting better with each book that I tackle. But yeah, that's the first book that I'm super excited about. The next book that I'm really excited about is Arlo Finch and the Lake of the Moon by John August. This is the second book in the Arlo Finch series. I got the first book from Owl Crate Jr. I did a past box. And then this is the second book, and it's basically set at a magical wilderness camp, and this is the second book in the series. I really, really liked the first book in the series. I wound up gifting that to a kid in my homeroom, but this is the second book, and It just seems so adorable. It's really, really cute. I really like the first one, and hopefully this book is no different. And there's a monster on the cover, so that's even more amazing. And then the next book is from an author that I simply adore, is Alexandra Bracken, and that's The Last Life of Prince Alistair. This is the sequel to The Dreadful Life of Prospero Redding. I got this book in May from BEA, and I got to meet Alex, and she signed it for me. This is the concluding novel to that series, and it's basically about a young boy who finds that he has a demon living inside of him. And this is the sequel book. I thought the end of the book one was kind of a game changer, so I'm really excited to see what happens next and to read the concluding book in this series. These are some authors that I have heard of before or read before, and some that are just totally new to me. And the first one is Warrior of the Wild by Trish Cherlevacera. I really loved her Daughter of the Pirate King duology. And this is set in a totally new world, and it's saying, how do you kill a god? Her father chosen her 18-year-old Rasmus to train her whole life to become a warrior and lead her village. When her coming-of-age trial is sabotaged and she failed her test, her father banishes her to a monster-filled wilderness with an impossible quest. To win back her home, she must kill the oppressive god who claims triumph from the villages each year or die trying. So I'm really excited for this. I really loved her previous sea-based series, and I really hope that I like this. I definitely liked book 1 better than book 2, but I'm hopeful that this book will be the trick, and I love anything about gods and goddesses. Another arc that I got from New York City Comic Con was Cerulean by Amy Ewing. I think that this is basically like a fantasy novel, but I think it's like also like a science fiction novel. And I don't know much about it, but I actually didn't want to ever reading her Jewel series, but this book sounds really interesting from what I've heard. Yeah. Another book that I wound up getting from New York City Comic Con, We Set the Dark on Fire, by Taylor K. Moshad, and this is Let the Rebellion Burn, a bold feminist look at a freedom, family, and the fighting of power. And I think this takes place at a school. Yeah. This jarring and dark romantic fantasy debut is set in an alternative version of Mexico, a society wife in training has a great awakening after being recruited by rebel spies and falling for her biggest rival. This cover is also super pretty. And the last book that I'm going to talk about in this mini section is Stolen Time by Danielle Rollins, and this is this is a time travel based novel. Set in 1915 and 2077. I know absolutely nothing else about it, but I'm super excited to read it. And some of the other books that I'm going to discuss in this video or just briefly mention that I'm super excited for is Bloodspell by C.J. Redwine, which is book 4 in her companion series, Lady Smoke, which is the sequel to Ash Princess, which I'm so excited about, Fame, Fate, and the First Kiss by Casey West, which is her newest novel, Honor Bound, which is the sequel to Rachel Kane's book science fiction adventure series from last year, which I really liked, Raina and Deli's Midnight Matinee by Jeff Zettner, which is a book that I've just found out when I was starting to do this video, which is a contemporary themed read. And I really do want to read more backlist books by Jeff Zettner because they're a little bit more emotionally heartbreaking. And also DC Icons Dawnbreaker is coming out, which is the Superman novel. Yeah. So those are some of the books that I'm really excited to read in February. I am going to definitely film my February TBR on Friday for you guys, so be sure you guys keep a nose out for that. Let me know in the comments if you're excited about any of these books, because I know that I definitely am, and I will talk to you guys next month for another what books I'm excited for in the month of March. But I will also talk to you guys soon for another video. Bye.